Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Time is the most precious gift you've been given. Not money, not fame, not applause, time. You can lose money and make it back. You can lose a job and find another. But once time is gone, you never get it back. Every second you waste is a second you'll never see again. Too many of us act like we've got forever. We scroll, we procrastinate, we put our dreams on hold, thinking tomorrow is guaranteed. But tomorrow is not promised. You've got to stop wasting time. You've got to make a decision right now to use every moment with purpose, with discipline, with focus. Because the truth is, greatness is not built in someday, it's built today. Faith without works is dead. Dreams without action fade away. And your destiny is waiting, but it will not wait forever. The clock is ticking, and the question is, what are you going to do with the time you've been given? Time is life's most valuable currency. Spend it wisely. Unlike money, you cannot earn more of it. You cannot save it up in a bank account, and you cannot borrow it from someone else. Every second that passes is gone forever, never to return. That is what makes time the most precious resource you will ever hold in your hands. Yet, too often, we treat it as though it is infinite, as though we will always have tomorrow, as though wasting it has no consequence. The truth is, how you choose to spend your time determines the quality of your life, the legacy you leave behind, and the destiny you fulfill. Every choice you make is an investment, and every moment is a transaction. You are either spending time building your future, or you are wasting it on distractions that rob you of your potential. When you start looking at time as currency, your perspective changes. Think about how careful people are with their money. They count it, budget it, save it, and invest it because they know its value. Now imagine if we treated time with the same level of care. Imagine if we budgeted our hours, if we invested them into learning, growing, creating, and pursuing what matters most. Imagine if we stopped spending time on negativity, procrastination, or habits that don't serve us. The reality is, many people protect their money with their life, but give away their time for free to things that add no value. But here's the truth. Money lost can be regained, but time wasted is gone forever. Great achievers understand this. They guard their time like treasure. They prioritize what matters, and they eliminate what doesn't. They wake up with a sense of urgency because they know the clock is ticking. They understand that each morning is not just another day. It is another opportunity to move closer to their vision. They treat their hours as investments into the person they want to become and the impact they want to leave. This is why you see them disciplined, focused, and relentless. They refuse to let the minutes slip away unnoticed because they know each one counts. When you waste time, you are not just delaying your progress, you are diminishing your potential. Every hour you spend aimlessly scrolling, every day you procrastinate, every opportunity you ignore is time you will never get back. Over weeks, months, and years, this adds up to a life half-lived, dreams unfulfilled, and potential left on the table. The saddest part is that most people don't realize they've wasted their time until it's too late. They look back and wonder where it all went, wishing they had valued their moments more, wishing they had spent them with intention. That is why it is so important to shift your mindset now. Spending your time wisely does not mean you work without rest. Rest is valuable when it is intentional. Reflection, relaxation, and time with loved ones are not wastes. They are investments into your well-being and your relationships. But wasting time on things that neither build you up nor bring genuine joy is what drains your life. Watching your dreams slip away while you sit idle, waiting for the perfect moment that never comes, is the kind of waste that robs you silently. The perfect time will never arrive, but the present moment is always in your hands. To spend your time wisely means to align your actions with your purpose. It means asking yourself regularly, is what I'm doing right now moving me closer to who I want to become? Is this action contributing to the life I want to build? These questions act like a compass, guiding your choices and ensuring that your time is being invested rather than squandered. Every book you read, every skill you practice, every meaningful conversation you have is a deposit into your future. Every distraction you cut away, every toxic environment you leave behind, every wasted hour you refuse to give up is a protection of your most valuable currency. You must also recognize that time has a multiplying effect. Just as money invested grows over years, time invested in the right areas compounds to create massive results. 10 minutes a day spent learning a skill becomes hours of mastery over time. Consistent effort, even in small doses, creates exponential growth. On the other hand, wasted time also multiplies. A few minutes here, an hour there. Daily procrastination. It adds up to weeks, months, and even years lost with nothing to show for it. That is the power of time, and it is why you must treat it with the seriousness it deserves. When you start living with this awareness, you begin to cut out the noise. You stop tolerating distractions. You stop saying yes to things that don't align with your goals. And you start using your time with purpose. You realize that every moment is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to give, to create, to build. You no longer live passively, you live actively, making conscious decisions about how your hours are spent. And the more intentional you become, the more progress you will see. Small, consistent, intentional use of time builds a future far greater than random, careless spending of it ever could. Tomorrow is not promised, act today. This truth is one that we often ignore until life shakes us awake. We live as if we own time, as if we can schedule our dreams for later, as if tomorrow will always be waiting for us when we are ready. But the reality is that tomorrow is never guaranteed. No matter how much we plan, no matter how much we assume, life can change in an instant. The opportunities you think will still be there tomorrow may vanish. The people you take for granted may not be around. The energy, the health, the strength you count on today may not remain. And that is why the wisest decision you can ever make is to act now, to take the steps you've been putting off, and to move toward the vision you hold in your heart without delay. So many dreams are buried not because people lacked talent or opportunity, but because they thought they had more time. They believed they could start someday. Someday I'll start the business. Someday I'll write the book. Someday I'll mend that relationship. But someday is not a day on the calendar. It's an illusion. And while people wait for someday, their lives pass by. Regret is the result of believing in tomorrow instead of acting today. If you want to live a life without regret, you must embrace urgency. You must see today as your chance, your opportunity, your moment to step forward. Acting today does not mean you need to have everything figured out. Too many people delay action because they think they need more knowledge, more resources, more clarity before they begin. But clarity comes from action, not from waiting. The path becomes clear once you start walking. Momentum is built not in hesitation but in movement. The first step you take today however small, begins to break the chains of procrastination and fear. It sends a message to your mind and your spirit that you are serious about your purpose. It shifts you from being a dreamer into becoming a doer. There is power in acting today because today is the only moment you truly own. Yesterday is gone and tomorrow is not promised. All you can control is what you do right now. Every day you wake up with breath in your lungs, you have been handed a gift. How you use that gift determines everything. Do you spend it idly, waiting for perfect circumstances? Or do you use it to create, to build, to love, to serve, to move toward the life you were born to live? The present is where destiny is shaped. And the longer you delay, the more you risk losing the chance altogether. When you look at people who achieved greatness, one thing stands out. They refused to wait. They took their shot even when the conditions weren't perfect. They started the project when they didn't have all the resources. They spoke up even when their voices shook. They understood that hesitation steals opportunities. They embraced the truth that life is fleeting, and they made the most of the time they had. Every achievement, every success, every breakthrough begins with someone deciding to act today instead of waiting for tomorrow. The urgency to act today also changes the way you live. It makes you more intentional, more grateful, and more focused. When you understand that tomorrow may not come, you start appreciating the people around you more deeply. You make that phone call you've been postponing. You express love and gratitude instead of assuming there will always be another chance. You stop wasting hours on distractions and start investing them into what truly matters. You live with clarity because you know that every moment counts. Fear is one of the biggest reasons people delay action. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough. But when you realize that tomorrow is not promised, fear loses its grip. Because what's scarier than failing? Reaching the end of your life knowing you never tried. What's scarier than rejection? Wondering what could have happened if you had just taken the step. Fear of acting today keeps you comfortable, but it also keeps you empty. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite it. Acting today is the ultimate form of courage because it says, I will not let fear rob me of this moment. Every great legacy is built on the foundation of urgency. People who change the world, who inspire generations, who leave behind impact, all share this common trait. They did not wait. They seized the day, they acted in the moment, and they lived with the awareness that life is fragile and time is short. That urgency gave them energy, passion, and focus. It fueled them to use every ounce of their potential while they had the chance. Tomorrow is not promised, and that truth can either paralyze you with fear or empower you with purpose. When you choose to let it empower you, every day becomes an opportunity to live fully. Every moment becomes a chance to step closer to your dreams. Acting today means you stop living in what if and start living in I did. It means you stop wishing and start building. It means you stop waiting for the right time and recognize that the right time is now. Discipline turns minutes into milestones because discipline is the force that transforms intention into reality. Everyone has the same 24 hours in a day, but not everyone uses those hours the same way. What separates those who achieve greatness from those who stay stuck in mediocrity is not talent alone. It's discipline. Talent can open the door, but discipline keeps you walking through it day after day. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. It's the decision to stay focused when distractions are calling, to stay committed when comfort tempts you, and to stay consistent when motivation fades. Discipline takes the minutes of your life and turns them into bricks that build your future, one steady step at a time. Minutes may seem small, but they carry power when invested with discipline. Think about a single minute spent reading, practicing, or working on your dream. Alone, it may not seem like much, but multiplied over weeks, months, and years, it becomes mastery. 1 minute of discipline compounds into hours, and those hours become skills, achievements, and milestones that others will admire, but few will understand. Most people underestimate the value of small, consistent actions because they crave quick results. They want the milestone without the minutes, the glory without the grind. But discipline teaches you that progress is not about giant leaps. It is about faithful steps repeated over time until they create transformation. Discipline is not always glamorous. It looks like waking up early when the bed feels warm. It looks like practicing your craft while others are relaxing. It looks like saying no to distractions so you can say yes to your purpose. Many will not notice the minutes you invest in private, but those hidden moments of discipline are what prepare you for the milestones celebrated in public. Every great athlete, artist, leader, or innovator understands this truth. Their victories are built on thousands of hours of disciplined practice that nobody saw. By the time the spotlight shines, the discipline has already done its work. The challenge with discipline is that it often feels uncomfortable. Human nature craves ease, pleasure, and instant gratification. Discipline requires you to resist those impulses and choose a harder but more rewarding path. It asks you to embrace structure, to follow routines, to set standards, and to hold yourself accountable. It demands patience because results rarely come overnight. But that very resistance is what makes discipline powerful. The discomfort you endure today becomes the strength you carry tomorrow. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you train your mind and body to follow through, and that habit compounds into unstoppable momentum. Discipline also creates freedom. At first, it may feel like discipline restricts you, but in reality, it sets you free. When you discipline your finances, you gain freedom from debt. When you discipline your health, you gain freedom from sickness. When you discipline your time, you gain freedom to pursue your passions. The structure discipline provides is what allows you to live life on your terms. Without discipline, you are at the mercy of your impulses, your moods, and your environment. With discipline, you take control. You decide how your minutes are spent, and as a result, you decide what milestones you reach. One of the greatest gifts of discipline is that it builds character. Every act of discipline strengthens your willpower and deepens your self-respect. When you keep promises to yourself, you prove that you can be trusted with your own goals and dreams. That confidence carries into every area of life. Others may doubt you, but your consistency will speak louder than words. Discipline becomes your reputation, your identity, your edge. While others are still talking about what they plan to do, discipline ensures you are already doing it. When discipline becomes your lifestyle, milestones are inevitable. It may take longer than you expect, but the results will come. The book gets written 1 page at a time. The degree gets earned 1 class at a time. The championship gets won 1 practice at a time. Discipline bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. It turns wasted minutes into purposeful steps, and purposeful steps into remarkable achievements. The milestones others applaud are simply the byproduct of disciplined minutes you invested long before anyone was watching. Distractions steal destiny. Cut them off, because the dreams you carry and the goals you want to achieve require focus. And focus cannot survive in an environment filled with constant noise. Every time you give your attention to something meaningless, you are giving away a piece of your future. Distractions look harmless on the surface. A few minutes scrolling through your phone, a little procrastination, a quick diversion. But those minutes add up, and soon they become hours, days, even years lost. What makes distractions so dangerous is not just the time they consume, but the momentum they destroy. You may have been building consistency. You may have been working towards something important, but a distraction interrupts your rhythm and pulls you off course. Destiny is not fulfilled by accident. It is fulfilled by intention. To reach the place you were created to reach, you have to stay committed to the path. And the path requires discipline, clarity, and focus. Distractions are like detours. They might seem like small turns, but they lead you away from where you need to go. When you allow too many detours, you wake up one day far from the life you intended to live. That is why people with extraordinary achievements guard their focus with everything they have. They recognize that their vision is too important to be compromised by temporary pleasures. Distractions are not always obvious. Sometimes they come disguised as opportunities. They may look good, they may even feel productive, but if they don't align with your ultimate goal, they are still distractions. Saying yes to everything dilutes your power. The more scattered your energy, the less effective you become. Cutting off distractions requires learning to say no, even when it's uncomfortable, even when people don't understand. Every yes you give to a distraction is a no you are giving to your destiny. Every time you settle for something less than your purpose, you are sacrificing progress for comfort. Technology has amplified the challenge of distraction. Notifications, social media, endless entertainment. They are designed to capture your attention and keep it. But your attention is not free. It is the most valuable asset you own. Where your attention goes, your life goes. If your attention is scattered on meaningless noise, your life will reflect it. If your attention is focused on growth, learning, and purposeful action, your life will reflect that too. This is why being intentional about how you spend your time and attention is critical. You cannot expect to create a meaningful destiny while allowing every distraction to dictate your hours. The power of focus lies in its ability to magnify your efforts. A magnifying glass, when it scatters light, does nothing. But when it concentrates light into one point, it becomes fire. Your mind works the same way. Scattered energy produces little, but focused energy produces transformation. Every great invention, every breakthrough, every masterpiece came from someone willing to cut off distractions and commit themselves fully to their work. The people you admire for their success didn't just have talent, they had focus. They knew that chasing every distraction would cost them the one thing that mattered most, so they chose to stay locked in. Cutting off distractions also requires creating boundaries. You cannot always control what comes your way, but you can control what you entertain. Protect your environment, protect your schedule, protect your mind. If something or someone is constantly pulling you away from your purpose, you must make the difficult choice to step away. It's not about being rude or cold. It's about being committed. The more serious you are about your destiny, the less tolerance you will have for things that steal your focus. Distractions also weaken your habits. Every time you give in to a distraction, you train yourself to lose focus faster the next time. But every time you resist, you build mental strength. This is why cutting them off is not just about saving time, it's about building character. It's about proving to yourself that your purpose matters more than temporary gratification. It's about setting a standard for your life that says, I refuse to be pulled in every direction. I choose to be intentional. When you start removing distractions, you will notice clarity returning to your life. You will think sharper, act faster, and accomplish more. You will feel less overwhelmed because your energy is no longer divided. You will make progress in areas that once felt stagnant because now your minutes are aligned with your mission. The more you focus, the more momentum you build, and the more unstoppable you become. That is the power of protecting your destiny from distractions. Purpose gives every second meaning, because without purpose, time slips away without direction, and life becomes a cycle of routine rather than a journey towards something greater. Purpose is what transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary opportunities. It's what turns struggle into strength, work into fulfillment, and sacrifice into legacy. When you live with purpose, every second carries weight. You no longer see time as something to kill. You see it as something to use, to shape, to invest. Purpose gives your actions clarity and your days structure, because it aligns everything you do with where you want to go and who you want to become. Without purpose, people drift. They wake up each day without enthusiasm, doing tasks that don't inspire them, chasing things that don't matter, and wondering why they feel empty despite being busy. But with purpose, even the smallest tasks carry significance because they are connected to something larger. A student studying late at night doesn't see it as just homework. They see it as a step toward their dream career. An athlete training before sunrise doesn't see it as just practice. They see it as a path to greatness. A parent working long hours doesn't see it as just a job. They see it as a way to provide for their family and shape a better future. Purpose transforms how you see your time because every second becomes part of a story that matters. Purpose also fuels perseverance. Life will test you with setbacks, disappointments, and obstacles that can make quitting seem easier. But when you are rooted in purpose, you don't give up easily because you know why you started. Purpose reminds you that the pain you feel is temporary, but the reward is lasting. It gives you strength to push through exhaustion, to rise after failure, and to keep going when the odds are against you. Without purpose, challenges break you. With purpose, challenges build you. Every second of effort becomes meaningful because it is moving you closer to something worth fighting for. Another power of purpose is focus. When you know your why, you stop wasting time on what doesn't matter. You stop chasing approval from others. You stop following trends that don't align with your values. And you stop scattering your energy in every direction. Purpose acts as a filter. It allows you to say no to distractions with confidence because you are clear about your mission. This clarity saves you from regret because you know your minutes are being spent on something that truly matters to you. Purpose doesn't have to be something grand in the eyes of the world. It doesn't have to mean fame, fortune, or recognition. The purpose is deeply personal. For some, it may be building a business. For others, it may be raising children, creating art, teaching, healing, or serving a community. Whatever it is, when you find it, you give meaning to your time. You no longer measure your life by how many years you live, but by how much life you put into those years. Every second, whether in joy or struggle, contributes to something that lasts beyond you. Living with purpose also creates impact. The way you spend your time doesn't just affect you, it influences everyone around you. A purposeful life inspires others. It creates a ripple effect that reaches further than you can see. The teacher who inspires a student, the leader who motivates a team, the artist who touches a heart, the parent who shapes a child. All of these are examples of purpose, giving meaning to time. Every second invested with intention multiplies beyond your own life and becomes part of a greater story. Purpose gives you fulfillment that nothing else can provide. Money, success, recognition. They may bring moments of happiness, but without purpose, they feel hollow. Purpose is what makes success meaningful. It's what allows you to lay your head down at night with peace, knowing that your time was not wasted, that your energy was not scattered, and that your life is moving in the direction it was meant to go. It gives you the strength to wake up each morning with drive, knowing that the seconds ahead are not random. They are opportunities to live your mission more fully. When purpose drives you, you realize that time is sacred. You no longer let hours slip through your fingers without intention. You approach each day asking yourself how you can use your seconds to grow, to serve, to contribute, to live aligned with your calling. And as you do, every moment of your life becomes infused with value. Every choice becomes significant, and every second becomes a building block in the legacy you are creating.